Good morning, everybody. We're going to go and have a look around the brand new 2024 Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 350. This is a fabulous little boat. Not this particular boat, but it was a Jeanneau 36 where I actually ended up doing my skipper's tickets and all that sort of stuff on. So I hope they haven't changed the DNA too much, because these are actually a fabulous boat and a great boat single-handed or just for a couple. As you can see aft here, we have the shore power on the starboard side, and then you have your drop down transom bathing platform, and when it's up it'll actually close off sort of all the way up to the top here, so it gives you sort of nice security all the way along. Have your bathing ladder, and then just under here is where your life raft will go, and you have access to that from the deck too when the transom is, well, transom's closed. Just next to that on the starboard side you have another relatively large lazarette for a boat this size, your emergency steering handle, you know, battery charger, that sort of stuff. There's a bit of space in here, but remember it's a 35-foot boat, so integrated into the deck you have these nice blocks for your feet to give yourself some support when you're on the hill. And obviously on both helms, I'll just show you this one, your emergency steering. What we're going to do is start on the starboard side. So you've got carbon style wheels. There's some nice handholds forward, which I suppose would be a bit more practical on the other side. Raymarine chart plotter. You have your bow thruster. Not that I think you need a bow thruster for a 35-foot boat, but you know, if you want it for ease and comfort, there you go. And your anchor windlass controls and a small compass. This little tricky down here, little Raymarine box, so obviously you can put your data card in there for your charts depending on what system you've actually paid for, and a USB charger from Raymarine. And just to my right here on the corner seat you have your hot and cold water and fresh water shower. Comes out nicely, so on your bathing platform, and then your emergency bilge pump access. What they've done is integrated these corner seats with the high rails, so I think that's really quite nice. You can sit down, got your wheel here, got your winches, you've got really good view. This is sort of my head height view forward. So yeah, you know, it's a 35-foot boat. I've always liked the smaller Jeanneaus. As you know, from time to time at La Rochelle I sail a Jeanneau Sunfast, which is a hell of a lot of fun. You have throttle controls over here. This boat's been optioned out quite nicely, so you have throttle controls on your starboard side. On the port side helm you have your Yanmar start stop, but you could have engine controls popped over here as well, so it's, you know, not a big deal. This particular helm you have your autopilot and a repeater, you know, wind instrument. Set it up however you wish. It's not working at the moment because we're in an indoor boat show, but they've got this for cog, sog, all that sort of stuff. Both port and starboard you have Harken 40 2-speed self-tailing electric winches, which is pretty cool, and a little bank of clutches here forward for sheets or furler, depending on how you've set it up. I'm actually going to walk forward on the starboard side, mirroring what was on the port side. Coming forward, plenty of non-slip. You can have a spray hood if you wish, you know, for when you're at anchor and so on, but you know, it's entirely up to you. Nice grab handles, and also you have access starboard and port side. Get to pontoon or whatever. Something Jeanneau have been doing for a while now, which I think is awesome, as you'll see that there is actually no step under deck onto the deck, that it just a gradual slope all the way up. Outboard shrouds, so you have plenty of room to walk down the side edge. It feels like a really big boat. For a 35-footer, feels like a really big boat. And here you have a very, very neat system for controlling your boom and your main sheets. It's similar, very similar to what we had adapted to the Sunfast ice sail. Everything's through friction rings and obviously Dyneema soft loops, soft shackles, however you want to call it. With your Jeanneau or jib sheets, depending on how you've set this up, this is actually on a self-tacking jib. It's just bigger dinghy sailing. You can control, it's going to be difficult to show you here. So you have control for your sheets, basically for trimming your sail, so you can actually pull in further down this line. I'll see if I can demonstrate a little bit. So back in the cockpit, you'd pull this line to really trim up and pull your lines in, and then if you wish you can pull it further out or release them if you're downwind, and you get the idea. It'd be nice to show you, maybe it can, or in La Rochelle if we can get a test sail and we can actually show you under sail, because it's a really cool system. Obviously self-tacking jig, so you've got your self-tacker, and then forward you've got your bowsprit, so single barrel roller. You would have for your jib or Jeanneau. There is a spot forward for your Code D Jenica, spinnaker, and then a tidy little windlass. Here obviously would be your remote control, and you can see the plug connector there. So there you go for a jib, staysail, and then your anchor chain locker, sorry, is just forward there. So it's just really smart. Jeanneau, over the last year or two, if you haven't seen it, we went around the 55 at the Cannes Boat Show, so I'll leave a link for that up in the corner. Their boats are just getting better and better. Built for sailors, built for comfort. You know, I know that there's always this argument over production and so on and so forth, but if you're starting out, you know, you've got a few quid and you're starting out, it's you and the missus or whatever, maybe you've just got a new Litlin. Fantastic boat, absolutely fantastic. Right, centre of the cockpit table. On top, it's a nice little drinks area, cool box, ice box, and some decent sized cup holders. Both sides of the table, both leaves come out, but I've only done one. You can get 4 around the table, very comfortable for 2, but 4 easily. On the port side, this one has been optioned out with a lazarette, a locker. We'll see if we can get into this one. Yeah, we can. So, versions, 2 cabin or 3 cabin version. This one has been left out without the mattress, so it's like a little workshop storage area. I think it's pretty cool. Like I say, if you're a small family or a couple, you know, why bother having the 3rd cabin? There's plenty of storage in here. They're really good for your fenders, spare sails, spare parts, all that sort of thing. You can see when we get inside, you'll see the hatch, but there's a little hatch there. Standard stuff, got your washboards, you know, attached here. They're out of the way. And then both port and starboard, you have Harken 35 self-tailing winches. I should imagine an option to have one of them electric if you wish. And then you have the bank of clutches here. And I'm going to show you on the starboard side. So that little bit of kit we had forward, so it comes back to a clutch. So if you see, if I give it a tug, I don't know if you can see all the way forward, you know, just for trimming, you can really put some force, set up your sails the way you want, and, you know, really get this boat balanced nicely. Coming down the companionway, I'll give you a little pano while I'm up here. To give you an idea, it's surprising how much space there is in this boat. There's grab handles to go down if you need them. It's 3 easy steps. A really nice long lounger or sea berth on the port side, and then you have just a you know, standard decent bench seat and sea berth on the port side. There is an option for this. I don't want to go pulling it all apart, to be honest. I'm going to see if I can find a photograph. If I can, that'll be coming up now. So you have a little nav desk, nav station here. I quite like it set up like this. It's a small enough boat that if you are doing any paperwork or whatever, you can just fold out one of the leaves of your table and do your work here. So before we go too far forward, I'll show you the heads. This one's set up with a manual flush. Obviously this is the 2 cabin version. So it's set up with a manual saltwater flush. You know, ventilation. These port lights have been frosted out for privacy, but you know, that's your choice. And then instead of having a cabin, because this would be a wall and then there would be cabin access somehow, you can see on the floor here, so the moulding, so cabin access would be there. You actually have a separate shower. So for a 35-foot boat, you know, you have a nice storage area, separate shower, separate head, so you're not having to worry about a wet head. There is ventilation out into the cockpit, and then there's that really big storage area, so you can imagine how much stuff you can put in there and all your toys. I just think it's really cool. It's a nice little boat to get started with. And then on the right hand side, the starboard side of your companionway, you have your U-shaped galley. So under the sink you have the Jeanneau tray system, and obviously your bins down here. It's a nice little storage area there. Stainless steel sink, salt water and fresh water, which is cool. It's always nice when you see the boat manufacturers keeping the salt water pump. So it's hot and cold water, and then in the corner you have a top loading fridge. There's a lot of space. There's, you know, if you're going away for the weekend or the week, there's enough space in there to get your groceries, and obviously you're likely to go to a marina or somewhere nice and eat out at a restaurant. Very handy drawer there, and I should imagine you could actually option it out and have a microwave up here, which would be pretty cool. Couple of top loading cupboards here, and there is ventilation, so an opening hatch right above your gimbal stove. So it's a 2-burner gas gimbal stove, pretty basic stuff. And then underneath you have your emergency gas shut off and storage for pots and pans. Very handy little chopping block. I was impressed with the 55, what we call the catamaran killer. Fabulous boat, and I'm impressed with this new 350. Maybe I'm easily impressed, I don't know, but I like it. Aft, there's your main breaker switches, and then you have a nice double bed. There is ventilation into the cockpit, once again up here and out there, so there's plenty of ventilation. The only other port light you have in here is this small one up above your wardrobe. There's room to sort of get changed in here. It's not a huge amount of space, but if it's just you and your partner, or just you, you know, you're going to get dressed out in the saloon or somewhere like that, so it's okay. There is, hold on. Down behind the door you have access to mechanical department, and then it is quite a small space, but then you have a large hanging locker and so on here. Someone is banging about on the boat. And then before we go forward, I'll show you the mechanical spot under your companionway. So there's your Yanmar engine, pretty basic really. You can see your saltwater strainer and oil filters and dipstick and alternators there. And then just over on that side too, you have another access panel where the shower is. Let's get to other bits and pieces. Okay. So port side, showed you with the little nav desk. You have your Raymarine VHF radio, fusion stereo, you know, touch electrics for lights and bits and pieces like that. And obviously this will or would indicate water levels in your water tank, diesel and so on. Let's see, yeah we can. So, you know, nice and easy. Some of the bits and pieces are labelled, but it's not like it's a big complicated system, so fault finding, you know, it's not really much of an issue. Nice, nicely done. Speakers, both port and starboard for your Fusion stereo. Nice port lights. On your further up, you have these nice big saloon windows. They have blinds on. Keep it simple. And a forward opening hatch. Very, very nice. In the middle of your saloon table, there is somewhere for those essential bottles. And then obviously your mast compression post, and then coming forwards, double doors. So if you want to make your boat look, or give it some more volume space, if it's just you and you're littling, or just you can have both of your forward cabin doors open, allowing more light in and making the boat look a lot bigger, a lot more spacious. And there's a nice V-berth, double V-berth forward. You have lockers, both port and starboard, for your clothes and bits and pieces, and a hanging rail. Some really nice port lights either side. 2 opening overhead lockers. Really nice, nicely done. There's another, obviously, as I said, there's another locker here. And then plug, USB charging, and your reading lights. So let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments below. For me, this is an ideal, you know, I know it's a budget thing and everything else, but I think this is an ideal sort of starter boat. Like I say, if you're a couple or a very small family with maybe 1 child or 2 very little ones, and you're just wanting to get out on the water for weekends and maybe go off for an adventure along the coast, because it's definitely a coastal sailor, for a week or so, it's actually a surprisingly nice boat. It's being Jeanneau, it's going to be pretty rapid. The sail plans can be changed, so if you know you want to have a little bit more fun and you're a solo sailor or whatever and you want to do some coastal stuff, this is a pretty neat little boat. Definitely a step up from the Sunfast. I really like it. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.